Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar on EDI integration by eBridge Connections. My name is Mark Sferrazza. I'm the marketing manager at eBridge, and I'm joined here with Mike Catafamo, our technical sales engineer. So to start, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about eBridge as a company, and then later we'll have Mike do a demo on our EDI integration solution. Okay, so we were founded in 1993. We were traditionally involved in EDI integration between trading partners and accounting systems. Over the last decade or so, we've expanded our integration solutions portfolio to support e-commerce shopping carts as well as CRM platforms. And we currently have about 2,500 customers worldwide in a countless number of industries and sectors. We also have a dedicated team of over 50 employees, and we don't outsource any of our development. It's all done in-house. So there's a number of advantages that really separates eBridge from the competition. For instance, we have hundreds of connections that can easily be deployed to your custom solution, and we don't charge you for any upgrades. And our new cloud-based ePortal application will help to ensure that you're always up to date with the latest connection configurations. We also support full EDI compliance without the need for any additional on-premise software. And one of the major benefits of using our application is that we don't charge you any fees per transaction. This means that you'll have an unlimited number of transactions and you'll pay a fixed price. Therefore, volume is really no concern. So whether you're a company doing 5 or 6 EDI transactions a month, or thousands of EDI transactions the next month, volume really doesn't matter. You'll still be paying the same fixed price. Our EDI platform is extremely powerful, yet it's simple. For instance, one of the major benefits of our integration solution is that it eliminates the need for manual data entry, and it also reduces data redundancy. There's no duplicate entries. So we use one set of data that can be integrated to a number of touch points, whether it be your EDI trading partners or your e-commerce shopping cart. So it's truly a bi-directional integration between EDI documents and your major accounting system. So at eBridge, we pride ourselves in having a strong relationship with our related software publishers, such as Microsoft, Sage, and Intuit, to name a few. We've also partnered with CRM platforms like Salesforce and e-commerce hubs like Magento, and that's in addition to the hundreds of trading partners that we already support. And the underlying goal of these partnerships is to remain current with all the latest software applications and accounting packages in order to ultimately keep our end customers current. So this diagram here on the left depicts the number of connections that you can make with your accounting package. So for instance, like I said, we support a number of e-commerce shopping carts, your major ones like Magento, Volusion, and ASP.NET Storefront, as well as hundreds of trading partners. If you're doing EDI transactions with Walmart and Costco, and like I said, we do support hundreds, and we can connect to virtually any trading partner at your request. And then on the right of this diagram, it just shows a few of the accounting packages that we support. So whether you're running a small accounting package or an enterprise level accounting package like SAP, our integration solution can really grow with you. So for instance, if you're a small business and currently you're running Intuit QuickBooks, and then one day you decide to upgrade to more enterprise level accounting suite like Microsoft Dynamics, you really don't need to search for another integration solutions provider, and that's what's great about our solution, is that it grows with your business. So now I'm going to pass it over to Mike Catafamo, our technical sales engineer, and he's going to give you a live demonstration of our EDI platform, as well as talk about how our system functions within the EDI space.
All right, thanks, Mark. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. I'm the technical sales engineer here at eBridge. I've been here about 7 years now, and I used to implement these EDI projects, and recently I've moved over to the sales team and marketing team to support them in a technical capacity. What I want to do first, before I show you our integration solution and explain a little bit more about our advantages as an EDI provider, I just want to give it a quick overview about what EDI is and how it works traditionally, as well as what that looks like when you do your EDI with eBridge and what some of the advantages are. Let's face it, nobody wants to do EDI. Nobody sticks up their hand and says, hey, I want to do EDI today. The reality is almost all the major retailers in the U.S. And Canada and really around the world use EDI as a means of communicating business documents. And typically that means orders, shipping notifications, and invoicing as the big three EDI documents that we most commonly work with. We certainly work with all EDI documents, but those are the transactions that are most common across just about every organization, particularly in a retail or kind of merchandise capacity. So what I want to do is just step you through what the EDI world looks like, because I think most people are nervous, they're afraid EDI, they've heard from their friends that EDI is difficult, it's expensive, and there's all of these misconceptions about what EDI is and how it works. So I just kind of want to take you through that a little bit today and hopefully give you a clear understanding of what EDI actually is. So EDI is actually a standardized document format. So it's an electronic format that is managed by kind of the ANSI standards in terms of, there's a governing body that says, if there's an EDI change, everyone needs to agree to it, and it's kind of implemented across the board. And what that means is all these different types of mainframe systems and back office systems can talk to each other using the standardized format. And that's a bit of a simplification, but let me take you through the steps and hopefully it clears things up a little bit here. So what I want to do is imagine that you got this big new deal with, say, Target, and you're going to be selling products to them, which is great because you have a cool new product and they want to buy it, and there's thousands of stores across the country. So they said, okay, we'll buy your widget, but you need to be able to do EDI so we can order from you and so you can invoice us electronically. You say, okay, great, I need to do EDI. So I need to be able to process these documents electronically. So I'm going to step you through the process of Target sending you an order, and we'll look at the pieces in the chain. So the first step in the chain is Target's back office system, which you don't really need to worry about. They generate an order, and they send that order through some EDI validation software or EDI translation software that converts it from their proprietary format to an EDI format. So whatever their back office system is, if it's a mainframe, if it's some accounting or ERP system, some ordering system, it's in a proprietary format, it's theirs, and what they'll do is run it through some EDI conversion software to generate an EDI document out of that order. Once they generate EDI, they send it through some EDI validation checks to make sure that the EDI data is compliant and adheres to the standards that are published, as I had mentioned earlier. Once it's been validated as proper, well-formed EDI, that EDI is sent out the door, so to speak, from Target out to what's known as an EDI van, and that represents value-added network. And essentially, you can think of a van as an electronic post office for your EDI documents. So they'll transmit the EDI to a van, and the van needs to figure out who's sending it. In this case, it's Target, and who's receiving it. In this case, it's your company. And so, in really the truest sense, there's really no better analogy to describe a van as an electronic post office for EDI data. So Target sends the EDI data, we'll call it the order, to their EDI van, and it figures out that it's coming to you. And the EDI van that they send it to may or may not be your EDI van. And you could think of this as, you're sending the data to you're sending your, information to your post office in your town. In this case, the van is electronic, so it doesn't matter physically where they reside. But if you think of it as, in that terms, the van is, there's one side of the van, and then if we continue with the post office analogy, that data is routed to another post office in the destination city. In this case, it's going to potentially another EDI van, which would be your EDI van. Now, it could very well just be another mailbox on the same EDI van. There's a few large, EDI vans in the marketplace, and it could just very well be your mailbox on that same van. But if you think of it, it's going, from one location to another location. At this point, the data is in your realm of responsibility, and it's up to you to now retrieve it and process it through your system. So you would now fetch the data from your EDI van. You would validate it through your EDI validator to make sure it didn't break along the way, so it's still structurally sound. So this is now on your side. You would run it through some software that converts it from an EDI format to some other format. If we're talking about integration, we're talking maybe about a back office format. There's several different types of EDI solutions, but we'll focus on an integration solution here. And finally, we'll produce an output that represents whatever it is that you need on your side to consume that, whether it's a printed report or whether it's an integrated document that goes into your ERP or accounting system. So this is at a pretty high level how EDI works. What I want to do is run through the same scenario and explain how eBridge's EDI solution is different. And I should mention that with this type of traditional EDI solution, the validation and conversion of that EDI data does require separate software. And I should also mention that the EDI vans typically charge you, just as a post office does, per transaction. So they'll say, okay, how much does this package weigh, or how big is this EDI document, and they'll charge you for that every single time they transact information through the network. So what I'll do is now show you the eBridge solution, explain how it's a little different from an EDI perspective. So the first part of it stays the same. We're not too concerned with how Target's generating their order or how they're converting it to EDI or how they're validating it or how they're getting it to their van. We have no control over that. But when Target's EDI van sends the EDI data, what we'll do is pick it up here at eBridge. And we have a strategic partnership with one of the largest vans, GXS, and that allows us to provide a flat rate or unlimited transaction fees, as Mark had mentioned earlier. So you can actually do as much volume as you like without paying postage every time you receive EDI documents, or send them for that matter. So that's where we assume the responsibility of having an EDI van. So in the old model, you'd have to procure your own EDI van. You'd be responsible for all of the associated fees and all of the appropriate connection to get that data. With our solution, we also handle all of the validation of that EDI data to make sure that it's compliant. You do not need any additional software to validate that EDI data or check it or do anything special with it. We handle all of that for you. And we also take that EDI data and we convert it for you, and we convert it to whatever format you need. Because we mostly do accounting and ERP integrations, for the most part, we're converting to one of 40 accounting or ERP systems we support, and we're integrating the data so that we can take those orders and post them directly into the accounting system without having you enter them manually. So that's how we're a little bit different. We take the responsibility of the van, so we're saving you time and money there, and we're cutting down on the complexities of having additional software to be installed and maintained on your side, and we're converting that data into a format that you need to consume on your side. And that doesn't necessarily need to be integrated. We can create CSV files, we can create text files, we can do really any data format that you want so that you can either read it or consume it by some back office system that you have in place. All right, so what I'd like to do now is flip over to our demo environment here, and I'd like to really briefly show you the eBridge EDI integration solution. And if you bear with me here, okay. What we're looking at here is the eBridge homepage, corporate homepage, and I'm just going to log in to what we call ePortal, and that's one of the key components we have in our integration solution. And ePortal is essentially the EDI integration platform that we have that contains all of the communication with the EDI van, as well as the validation software and some of the other features that are associated with EDI, like document reconciliation, which I'll speak to again in a moment. I'm going to click on Transactions. And what we're looking at here looks a lot like web-based email. So we have an inbox and an outbox, but instead of email messages, we have business documents. In this case, we have orders. And if you're familiar at all with EDI, you can see here we have the document type, and 850 represents a purchase order, which is probably most of the EDI documents that you'll see. However, we can receive and process really any EDI document type. This drop-down list shows some of the more common EDI documents that we run through our system, but it's certainly not all of them. You can click on the document, and I'm going to continue with Target as my example, and you can see a formatted representation of the EDI data, which is really nice. Because if you've seen EDI and looked at EDI before, it is a bit daunting and it's a bit intimidating to look at. But if you come in here, you can see a formatted view. You can print off this document and carry it over to finance or carry it over somewhere if you wanted to, and have a talk with someone about the order. We do, however, still make the raw EDI available to you. So if that's something that you're interested in looking at, if we need to discuss something with you with respect to some of the information we're getting from your trading partner, perhaps Target sending something to you and it shows up in your accounting system and you're not sure where that data came from or how they got to that value, we can look at the raw EDI and see exactly what was transmitted without eBridge having touched it. And I can say that there's more than a couple of EDI solutions out there where the provider doesn't make this available to you. You just can't see it. And we don't have anything to hide, so we make that accessible to you. It's just a better solution for you. And of course, you can see in the inbox here, if you haven't noticed already, we have a number of different types of orders. We have EDI orders, as you can see here, Target, Ingram Micro, Shoppers Drug Mart. We have e-commerce orders, Magento and eBay, ASP.NET, and you can see some CRM. We have Salesforce. So we can actually consume everything through one integration platform, which is really handy. Really briefly, on the EDI side, you'll see that under the status column, we have something here that says acknowledged. That means we've acknowledged the receipt of this EDI document, and we've sent that acknowledgement back to the trading partner. So when Target sends any EDI documents, or any EDI partner sends an EDI document, it's mandatory that any EDI system acknowledges the receipt of that, and it's kind of like a handshake that says, yes, I got your document, so that their system can be confident that the transmission didn't get lost through one of those steps along the way, or was invalid somehow and got kicked out of some validation system. So it's really handy to have that, and it's handy to know that you've sent an acknowledgement. But what's really nice is in the outbox, when you transmit an EDI document, you are then expecting a receipt of an EDI acknowledgement. So you'll send an invoice, you'll send a shipping notification, Now your trading partner is required to send you an acknowledgement back so you know they got it. And ePortal is a bit unique, and our solution is a little bit unique in that if you don't get that acknowledgement back within 24 hours, we will email you and let you know that, hey, we didn't get an acknowledgement back for that invoice you sent. And then you can contact us or contact your trading partner and get to the root of what the issue might be. Maybe they didn't get that particular invoice. Maybe there was some issue with the data itself. Who knows? But we don't wait until your term's due date comes up just to find out that the reason they didn't pay their invoice is because there was some problem with the data or they didn't receive it at all. We'll know within 24 hours and let you know so we can investigate. So that's really a nice feature of the EDI integration capabilities we provide on ePortal. So that's the eBridge ePortal component. This is where all of the EDI mappings happen for all of the trading partners that we're doing business with. You can see we have specific data mappings for each trading partner here. What I'd like to do now, really briefly, is take that target order and post it into the accounting or ERP system just to kind of complete the loop on the integration side of things and explain that a little bit more. So we're flipping over now to a system that you can imagine is your system that we're connecting to run the import of this EDI order manually. Now, in reality, we're going to automate this for you so that we push orders into your accounting or ERP system every 15 minutes, for example, or once an hour, whatever schedule makes the most sense. But I'm going to run it manually, otherwise there wouldn't be much to see here. So I'm going to pull up this eBridge client, and I'm going to manually run this order in. And again, this is all going to happen behind the scenes. Every time we import or export data, we record the activity in a log file. And what we're looking at here is the fact that we're doing some validation checks with the accounting system during the posting process to make sure we can create that order successfully. We have a number of options available to do validation checks on things like pricing. Depending on what options and what accounting system we're working with, we can check whether there's enough quantities available to fulfill that order. If you're not allowing back orders, we could potentially reject the order and prevent it from going into your system. So we can do all types of things. It really depends on what your business process is, which is something that we work hard to incorporate into the workflow so that the EDI solution we put in place dovetails with your business process instead of putting in a EDI process or EDI solution where you need to make changes on your side. So ultimately, we're interested in the fact that we created a sales order automatically in the accounting or ERP system. In this case, we created ORD ST2230. And really quickly, because I know not everybody's using Microsoft Dynamics GP, I'll just pull it up just so you can see it in there as well. So just take a moment. And we posted it as an order. And here we have the order. And if we recall the target PO number, we can see here that the PO number is now in the customer PO number field in Dynamics GP. And really, at this stage, you would give us feedback. Did we post the order into your system the way it needs to look based on your business process? And we could tweak it and make some adjustments. And essentially, at that point, we would call orders complete. So that's the import process in. It's pretty straightforward. And it's really simple. Orders will just pop up into your ERP or accounting system, and you can fulfill them the way you do today if you were to manually enter them. It's also really easy to extract information, and again, I'm going to do this manually, but we can automate this. If we wanted to send invoices, for example, we can select posted invoices, and it reads all of the invoices that are in the accounting or ERP system, and it's a matter of picking and choosing which ones you want to send, and you just click export and they go out the door. How we retrieve these in an automated basis, we work with you to understand which customers in your system you're doing EDI with, and we will filter and only look at those. So you can see here Baker's Emporium, we're calling a bridge partner. You could think of them as an EDI partner. And if we say, just show me EDI partners, we can filter those and only retrieve those with a click of a button. So I'm going to filter those, and now we only see invoices for Baker's Emporium. So lots of ways to automate this. This is really just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we can do. There's a lot of power and flexibility in the actual data transformation and data mapping stage of converting this data after we extract it from the accounting system and repackaging it and putting it back to the EDI partner, and essentially we reverse the whole process there. The third major document that I touched on earlier was the Advanced Ship Notice, the ASN. That's the EDI document number 856. We have an ASN module if it's required. A lot of partners need to know pallet or container level details for their EDI documents, so they want to know how many boxes, how many of each item and what SKU are in each box, and so on. We have that capability. It's really simple to do, and if anybody would like a more detailed demonstration and discussion about the ASN and how it works, please feel free to reach out to us. I'd be happy to give you an in-depth demonstration on the ASN capabilities. But essentially, we've been doing business for 18 years, doing EDI and accounting integration, and there isn't much we haven't come across in the EDI world. We've dealt with all types of industries: automotive, food, retail, manufacturing. We've pretty much seen it all, and we have the tools and experience here to deal with any of those types of industries and limitations with the accounting systems. Dealing with how we work with QuickBooks isn't necessarily the same as how we work with Dynamics GP that we were looking at. And it's not the same as how we would work with a Dynamics AX or a Sage Mass 500. So our system and our solutions need to be flexible, they need to be powerful, and they need to meet your business needs. Like I said, if you have any questions or want to talk about your situation, please feel free to contact us. I'd be happy to discuss your needs with you and put together a solution that meets your requirements. So at this point, I think I'd like to just turn it back over to Mark, and we will see if anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, just before we wrap up, it's important to note that you can go to our website at ebridgeconnections.com to see a list of available trading partners as well as the available document types that our platform supports, and that can be found under the EDI heading on our main menu. In addition, you can visit our blueprint at ebridgeconnections.com/blueprint, and with the blueprint builder, you can actually build a diagram of your touch points between your EDI trading partners and your accounting package of choice. And as well, you can follow us on Twitter for the latest updates from eBridge Connections at twitter.com/ebridgeconnects. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we have any questions, so we're going to wrap up this demo. And thanks everyone for joining us, and have a great day. Thank you.